All right, last part of 1.2, the standard form of an equation or of the equation of a circle. So the point xy, say it lies on a circle, so it's on the outer edge of a circle, and it's got a radius r, it's a good label for radius, and its center at some coordinates h comma k. This is if true, if and only if the equation or the equation that we see here is also true. So really what this is just saying is, here's the standard form of an equation. So we got x minus h. So in other words, x minus the the x coordinate of the center plus y minus k squared. So y minus k, which is the y coordinate of the center, equals r squared. So again, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r. This looks a little familiar. It's kind of similar in nature to, say, the Pythagorean theorem. Now it says, the next part says, what is the equation of the circle whose center is at the origin? Origin, remember, is 0, 0. So those would be our h and k coordinates. So if we plug those into h and k, you'd have x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals r. Well, x minus 0 is just x, so it'd be x squared plus y squared equals r. I missed the squared earlier. Sorry, r squared. So let's try out the specifics on this example down here. It says the point 3, 4 lies in a circle whose center is at -1, 2. Write the standard form of the equation of the circle. So just rewriting the standard form, we got x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So we need to plug in and figure out, there we go, sorry, I was just waiting for AirServe to catch up. We got to figure out h, k, and r. We're going to leave the x and the y in there. Now, h and k can kind of come from our center. So our coordinates for h and k are -1, 2. So we have x minus -1, that's kind of clunky, we'll clean it up, squared, plus y minus 2 squared equals r squared. Sorry, let me shift this over so you can actually see everything we just wrote. Now, x minus -1, that's the same as x plus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals, we don't know what r is. So I'm going to take a break here. R is the radius. Remember, that's a distance from the center to the outer edge. So I just said the word distance. So it's a well, I'm not going to use the letter d here because we talk about d in terms of diameter. So it's double the radius. But we're going to use the same equation that we use for a distance. So we have x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Now, one thing I kind of said, but I didn't emphasize it really strongly last time, is it doesn't really matter what is your x1, your x2, etc., as long as the x1 and y1 are together. So I'm going to use this point over here, the one on the left, as x1, y1, and the one on the left, sorry, the one on the right is x2, y2. Again, it doesn't matter if you flip those around, it'll all work out because you're going to square those values anyways. So we have r equals the square root of x2 we have as 3 minus -1, we'll clean that up in a second, squared, plus y2 we said was 4, minus y1, so 2 squared. We have r equals the square root of 3 minus -1. Minus -1 is the same as plus 1, so 3 plus 1 is 4 squared, plus 4 minus 2 is 2 squared. So we have r equals, cleaning up the inside, we got 4 squared is 16 plus 2 squared is 4. I said 4 and I wrote the wrong number. So we have r equals the square root of 16 plus 4 is 20. Now, 20 is not a square number. We could break it up. We could break it up into the square root of 4 times the square root of 5, which would give us 2 times the square root of 5. Now, one thing I want to go back up here is it says we're using r squared. So I'm actually going to leave that square root of 20 alone. So we're going to leave it as the square root of 20 because we're going to square it. Now, thinking about what you remember with operations. Opposite operations, like squares and square roots, cancel each other out. So the square root of 20 squared, the square root and the square just cancel each other out, and you just get 20. So the standard form of the equation for this circle that you see on the left is x plus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 20.